Hello. Welcome to Frida Miletsky Healing Arts. I'm your host, Frida, and I am the healing artist. Hello, friends. Today it is beautiful Monday, March 17th, and I am recording this for next Monday's Chitter Chat episode. And I'm doing so early on in the week because tomorrow we start getting a new roof. They were supposed to start today, but it has been raining and actually, believe it or not, hailing in the Bay. And they couldn't start today because of the weather. So today, for our Chitter Chat episode, I was thinking I wanted to talk to you about the pain body. And the pain body is a term that Eckhart Tolle introduced, and he's one of my favorite spiritual teachers. His book, The Power of Now, really influenced and helped me. It's one of my go-tos when people start waking up. It really has a lot of activators in it in terms of new ways to think and exist in the world. But one of my favorite things about the pain body is the way he talks about it is like when I see the pain body in action out in the world, because it's something I've become so used to working with. When a trigger comes up for me, I bring it to the light and work through the process of transmuting that energy around it. But sometimes when we're just out and about or on the media or maybe even social media, when you see somebody melting down and experiencing their pain body in person, it's like, oh, there goes the pain body. And it's just sort of like interesting to watch that happen in real time in real life. So today I thought we could talk about that. And I'm reminded of it because today something kind of wild happened at yoga. So I just go to this athletic club, which is not too terribly far away, but it has an amazing pool. It's my favorite thing in the whole world. And it also has many yoga classes throughout the week that I could attend. And my favorite yoga to go to is 3 times a week, and it's in the 1030 arena. So I am surrounded by, it's like a geriatric style yoga class. It is definitely retirees because based on the time, right? So I am definitely usually the youngest person, if not one of the younger people in that class. And it also has, like maybe the occasional stay-at-home mom because the athletic club has childcare. So like, this is not a hotty-toddy yoga class. So today, at the beginning of yoga, something really interesting happened, and that was that there was an argument / disagreement / altercation / there was a hullabaloo at the beginning of yoga today. And what happened was, we just had our mats set up, everybody was in place, and a gentleman came in and he was in like a bad mood. And there's usually, I want to say, like between 20 and 30 people in that room. And it's often, pretty close quarters. And he came in and he just, I didn't exactly understand what was going on, but he was like sort of indicating this very back corner area, which he decided that he wanted to be in. And I think a woman had her things there in the corner, and he indicated that he would like to be in the corner, and sort of threw a small tantrum because her stuff was there, and there was some sort of misunderstanding, like she was going to set her mat up there, and he was like, you can't save places in the yoga room, you just go set your mat up. Like, I'd never seen this guy before, and the altercation took place with somebody who is always at yoga. Like, I know this lady. And, my heart is just like unzipped and out to this woman because like, oh my God, why is she being attacked? Like, this lady did absolutely nothing wrong. And this guy was just super up in his pain body, and he wanted to have an altercation with somebody. He wanted to have a fight and a disagreement. So this is a very strange place for this to happen because, again, it's like geriatric yoga. Like, people are like real chill. The biggest thing that goes down is like a conversation about somebody's hip surgery before class. Like, this is really honestly not, this was very unusual. So we're in the class. This guy goes off, and it was interesting to watch, me being the sensitive person that I am. I just watched his pain body bounce around the room and how it affected the 20, 30 other people in that room. Some people were completely unaware of what was going on. Other people were aware and chose to ignore it. I was aware of it, and I made sure I put myself in a pyramid of white light and like made sure that I was just like, I'm going to stay in my protected space here. That guy's definitely not coming into me. I'm going to remain aware of this situation, but I was not intending to step in on it in any way because many people were already involved. My presence was not needed in the situation. So I've assessed it, and yet I'm sitting it out. And this whole thing took, it was over the span of like 10 minutes. So this was not a fast altercation. It was like a prolonged situation. So he kept walking around the room and like trying to find a place to put his mat that he wanted to exist in. And he was very heavy-footed and very gruff. And he was a very like Wilford Brimley style older gentleman with the brustly mustache and wearing his sneakers and like stomping around with his yoga mat. And like he wanted this corner. He gets to the corner. He like navigates all of these like bikes out of the way. So he like, there's people all over the floor, and he's like moving the spinning exercise bikes out of the way so that he can like sit his yoga mat in the corner, and then proceeds to like squeeze himself back there, completely hidden from the world. He's hidden from the mirror. I mean, like my awareness knows he's back there, but he's like hidden from like the most of the room. And he would not stop bugging the lady that he had the original altercation with to like move her things out of the corner, maybe like a bag or something. Just like, and in my heart, I'm like, I'm trying to send this guy love. And I'm just like, protect that woman, you know, like, because that's really alarming. I've been in situations where I've been attacked for absolutely no reason before, and it sucks. Oh, God, it sucks. And, you know, no one was rising to this man's bait. No one was rising to the pain body state of having the altercation that he desired. No one rose to a screaming match, and his voice was quite elevated and quite angry, and he had curse words involved with what he was saying. Like he was acting out old man toddler drama. Anyway, he gets himself squeezed into the corner, he gets himself situated, and he's gruff. And you know, one of the women, so it was interesting to watch this pain body bounce around the room and to see how different people dealt with it. So like one of the ladies in the room went up and like notified the teacher at the front of the room to alert her to the situation that was happening in the back corner. And another man tried to like intervene to save the situation, an older man, and he was just like, hey, you know, like if she wants to put her stuff there, she can put her stuff there. And the guy was just like, you can't save spaces, and got right up in this guy's face. Like he really wanted to fight. And then I watched this other woman who's really tiny and my age-ish go and like physically put her hand between the two of them, and was just like, this needs to end right now. Just stop it. Separate. It was like, whoa, like this was really something. And then the woman who I usually set my mat up next to, she's an older lady who's a real busybody type. Like she likes to have talks about what's hurting. Talk about pain body. She's always in her pain body. That lady can hardly move. But I'm also like, God bless you. Come to yoga and you're stretching it out. You're working on it, honey. Anyway, she's noted for doing several things in the class, but one of them is always all inform management. So she started talking about how she was going to inform management about this altercation that was taking place. It was just really, really interesting. Meanwhile, I just had my eyes closed and I was just feeling out what was happening around me. And and the class, like, it dissipated. Although I do have to tell you, I did keep out, like when we would do down dog and stuff, I would look over into that corner and see what that guy was up to. He did the entire yoga with shoes on, you know, I don't know what that's about. And he did like seem like he was calming down. He was doing a lot of big mustache breathing. So I hope that he got what he needed. And also like, good job, dude, for obviously being really, really, really ruffled. You do not normally come to this class. And like, good on you for trying something new and putting yourself in the position where you were willing to be vulnerable enough to like go in this room with the other people in there. And like, yeah, you blustered about, but also like he was trying to solve something because he wouldn't have been at yoga otherwise. So when the class was over, I just sort of went to the woman who was the one that was attacked, and I put my hand on my heart and I took my mask off. I always wear a mask at yoga because I love deep breathing, and it's a room full of people. And I'm still one of those ladies in California, like, I don't want to get sick. So I wear a mask. Like, I don't even want the common cold. I do Japan style. Like, I'm wearing a mask. So I went over and I just took my mask off so she could see my face, and I just put my hand on my heart, and I was like, I'm really sorry that happened to you. And she's just acknowledged and nodded, and like, because I think there was like this, that was hard. Like, I don't know how her practice was because I disconnected from all of it. I did my own practice. And interestingly enough, the practice today was about beginning again, like starting over. Vinyasa, start over, clean the slate, begin again. So that was today's like sort of intention and practice. And it was, you couldn't have started the class with a better thing to see like, hey, let's begin again. Hey, let's begin again, over and over. If your mind wanders, let's begin again. Go back to the moving prayer. Oh boy. So just really interesting in thinking about the pain body. So the pain body can show up as like physical pain, emotional distress, negative thoughts and beliefs, or behavioral patterns. So like for physical pain, that could be like chronic pain and tension and like chronic aching and stuff like that. Like you've gotten so much emotional stuff blocked up and going on inside of you, so much pain like layered on top of and on top of and on top of whatever that original trauma was, that it actually collects over time and creates a physical pain within the body. And that's honestly, like, I'm 44, so like people my age, like, and getting older, like things are starting to show up that way because it takes a long time to accumulate emotional pain to get to physical pain. This stuff doesn't just happen, but you know, that's where disease comes in, right? Disease is dis-ease. So then we have like emotional distress, like anxiety, depression, anger, like resentments. And those emotional distresses also can then get triggered and bring up in us like these different emotional outlets that aren't serving us. So just this distress, this dis-ease in the body, we can call the pain body. And then also negative thoughts and beliefs, like self-doubt, fears, like insecurities that you might have, limiting beliefs that tell you that you're not good enough or whatever. Those are also things that can come up and live inside of us from like an original core trauma that then just gets piled on and becomes this pain body. Or like behavioral patterns. And this one I am very familiar with, girls and boys and non-binaries. This I am so familiar with because this is something oh, Lordy Lou. Anyway, that would be like addictions, avoidance, unhealthy relationships with things. So like if you love shopping, but it's a shopping addiction because like, oh, you got yelled at or you had a bad day with your boss and blah, blah, blah. And then you go to the TJ Maxx or whatever, like that is, or the thrift store or whatever the thing is. I am very familiar with this because I used to smoke cigarettes and like I would try to quit for years. And something would come up and I could not quit that behavioral pattern. I could be able to do it for like a period of time, but like ultimately I would always return to it. Something would upset me and like that is the safety net. The safety net was the cigarette. So very familiar with that. Also food, like I had a food addiction and an eating disorder, which showed up in a lot of different ways, but I had that for like 25 years before I finally was able to erase that from my system from doing the healing work. So long. The amount of tendrils that went from every direction in all sorts of aspects of my body, karmic, past life, ancestral, this life, all of the little hurts and ways in which that eating disorder was intertwined in like my very fiber of essence, and how I had to remove string by string by string by bit by bit by bit, chasing them almost. And I'd think it was gone, and it would be gone for like close to a year, and that MRFer came back. It presented itself again in some wild, gnarly thoughts, and then I had to like go back to the work. What is left here? And like find the other little tendrils. I am forever rooting it out. You know, I always think about, I want to remove the trauma root and branch, and that was one that I worked so hard on to get all the little pieces. And I'm fairly certain I got it this time, but like, you know how the onion layer thing goes. So like healing is this spinning onion. So it's a circle, a layer of circle. This is how I see it. It's both an onion, so you're peeling the layers, and also it's like on this spiral. So it's like cycles. So like the spiral is spinning and the cycles present themselves. And each time you've peeled more layers off of it, so it's like not nearly as bad as it was before. And like, oh, there it is again. Hey, let's do the work on it a little bit more. And it's easier and easier and easier, but it's up again. Oh, there it is. Let's go into it. Like, oh God. There is a way in which this work is it's just a lot. And I love it. I cannot tell you how much I love doing this work, because I love myself so much. I want to do it. And because I am so incredibly dedicated to it, I have the ability to help others, because this is just like, this is my life. This is what we're doing. It's presenting itself this time around in this fashion. So going back to our dear friend, Eckhart Tolle, talking about the activation of the pain body. So like when the pain body arises, it can get activated by who knows what, all sorts of reasons, right? But it comes from a trigger. So maybe you have some sort of a reminder of a past trauma. So a perfect example of that for me is like, I decided to do this project like early in 2024, and I was going to watch every Jodie Foster movie ever made, and then I was going to write an article about it for the zine. My friends and I have a zine that we put together for our Burning Man camp. And I forget exactly the number, but I watched something like, oh my God, like 52 or 59, 58, something like that, Jodie Foster movies in the span of like 1 month. Yes, that is multiple movies a day. So I dedicated myself to this project. And at one point, God, one of those, it's just like this miserable, I think it was called like Grand Hotel, or the Hotel New Hampshire, or something with hotel in it. It was just this like goofy, craptacular comedy that in the middle of it featured this gang rape of poor little Jodie Foster as a teen. And it just sent me spiraling. Like, this movie freaked me out in a way where I just sort of like disassociated from my body, went to the refrigerator in the kitchen, cut a piece of cake, dumped a bunch of ice cream on it, and like went back to finish the movie with cake and ice cream, because it was like I needed to self-soothe my butt through the rest of that film. Like, I disassociated away. So that was like old past eating disorder behavior. And I thought it was done. Nope. Got triggered by this Jodie Foster movie. So I had to take that to, I think that there were like final little bits of that where I was like on my knees under the full moon, giving the last little vestiges back to my like 15-year back lineage ancestrage. I was like, take this back, like out on my knees, crying under the moon. Yeah. Little bits by little bits by little bits, healing work. So back to the pain body. This dude's pain body was so incredibly up. So I have no idea what happened to him, but he came in ready to have a fight. So when the pain body gets activated, it just releases this flood of negative emotions, and they can become incredibly overwhelming and make it difficult to function. So the first step in transcending the pain body is to acknowledge the fact that it's happening. So you have to become aware enough, self-aware enough, to recognize the fact that this is happening to you. So the man at yoga was not self-aware enough, or he wouldn't have been acting like a fool in the yoga class, because he was making a spectacle of himself in a way that, like, it was not the vibe of the room. Like, he was coming in hot and wanting to have a fight. So when we become aware, so a trigger arises, we feel it in our body, we become aware of it, and then we observe and acknowledge the painful emotions that are happening to us, but we don't judge them. So they're arising, and we're not going to put a story to it. We're not going to judge it. We're not going to bring ourselves down. We're not going to yell at ourselves, think we're bad news. We're just going to become aware and allow. So when I think about what happens, so like I just told you I went into like a fugue state, went to the refrigerator and performed behaviors that I know are not healthy for me, or it was just this old behavioral pattern that that hadn't happened in a really, really, really long time when that one came up one more time. One more time for the win. I was sitting on the couch eating my ice cream and cake, and I sort of paused while doing it. And I was like, I just disassociated. I went into a fugue state, and I began to self-soothe with food. So I stopped eating the ice cream and cake, and I sat it down, and I sunk into the feelings of what was happening to me. And I was like, wow, this gang rape in this film has triggered me from my own sexual abuse, trauma, history, rape situation to like, this is triggering me, and I am moving away from self and moving into the behavior of trying to self-soothe. So at that point, you can do two things, right? You can just take the cake and the ice cream and go throw it away or be done with that. I could finish it, but I could not go back again for more, right? So in the past, I would have just continued to eat. Like I was a binge eater. I would just eat and eat and eat. So like I didn't go back and have more cake and ice cream. I just stopped eating the cake and ice cream that I was eating and noticed that I had gone and done this behavior. And I'm fairly certain that it was like either later that day or the next day. It was very close to this incident that I also then reached out for help, like to my teacher, Rennie. And we had a regular meeting of the group of us that meet together in Ascension Tribe. And she helped me work on it, and we brought it to the light, and she helped me transmute that energy as well. So I reached out for help with it because that's one of the bigger ones that I always needed help with, the ED. It's so funny. I call eating disorder ED a lot, but then I realize also that ED also stands for erectile dysfunction. But I like the words ED in relation to eating disorder as well because, I don't know, they just roll off the tongue. But yeah, I guess people use that for man problems also. So once you become aware of it, you're moving into a stage of, so you have to be self-aware enough to notice, but then you can move into acceptance. So without judgment, you move into allowing the pain body to present itself, and then you don't suppress it, you don't resist it, you just sit with it. And that's what I would call, like, I would take it to the light. I would ask God, universe, sorts to meet me in the area of my body that I was experiencing that thing, and then help transmute that energy with light. And I think that if I'm remembering correctly, the way that Tully talks about it is like you accept it and then you release it. So he just talks about, and that's sort of like the Michael Singer surrender release process that we were talking about on our last Chit Chat episode. It's like when the thing comes up, when it arises, don't write a story about it, feel it, just stay with it and release it without writing any judgmental stories or, letting your mind wander off with it. So you're just releasing it by letting go of the old pain and surrendering to it by allowing it to just flow through you and leave the body. So until you become adept at this, because I've done this for years and years, you probably need assistance when you're starting off this process. I needed help. But it is genuinely a way to free yourself from the pain and suffering that is the pain body. And if you are a human on earth, you probably have a pain body that you need to take to the light and work with and deal with in some way. Therapy, surrender release, walking, exercise, however you want to come to it. If you're a human, you have trauma. It's just the way it is. This is reminding me too of I'll tell you a little story here about, so I am so spiritual. I do my work every day. This is my life. And I had, earlier in 2025, my sister Sophie and my bestie Christine, we all went to Sedona, Arizona for a 7-day retreat. We went to every energy vortex, the 7 energy vortexes that are the main ones. I know there's a lot more than that, but the biggie fries. And we did a meditation light work retreat in Sedona, Arizona. Oh, it was the best. We would meditate for multiple hours in the morning. It was so fun. It's my idea of the best time ever. And it was our second to last day in Sedona. And we were at this very cute Airbnb in downtown. And the rental property had asked us to take the trash out. So we had taken the trash out the night before, but the javelinas had gotten into it overnight. And I got up super early in the morning to go to the Airport Mesa vortex because I wanted to just personally I had seen it at sunset and I wanted to do a sunrise walk at Airport Mesa because that is the completionist that I am. I wanted it. So I noticed that the trash was knocked over when I woke up. And left in the darkness. And I was like, oh, when I get back, I'll go inside the Airbnb and I'll find a broom and a pick-me-up and I'll pick up the trash when I get back. But right now I'm headed to Airport Mesa because I'm going to go see the sunrise. I didn't think it was that big of a deal. And I had a wonderful morning walk. It was a couple hours later. Stopped at the Whole Foods on the way back, got some coffees for us girls and a little something for us to make for dinner that night. And I drove back and I'm pulling in the driveway and the neighbor next door was pulling in with her, pulling her trash cans into her house. And this lady, I got out of the rental car that I had, I shut the doors. I'm coming around with the tray of coffees and the bag from the store. And that lady attacked me. And I am the most high vibe, the most zen. We've had 5 or 6 intense days of extreme meditation. I am out there. I am flying high, so spiritual, so zen, so in touch with the all that is. And this lady was, she called me an effing bee, at least 3 times. And how dare I come to her town and trash it up. And I was in absolute shock. I was stunned. Oh my God, and it went on and on and on. Minutes. And I'm standing there with this tray of coffees and this bag from the Whole Foods in my hand, and my eyes were really wide, and I was and I never raised my voice. I was just okay. I was okay, it's an Airbnb. I need to go inside and I need to locate a broom, and I absolutely will pick this up. I never raised my voice, never. I was just in shock, right? She screamed at me. And then she said she was calling the police on me. And I was genuinely shaken. I was like, oh my God. Anyway, the trash spilled. The javelinas got in the trash. What the heck, stuff happens. So I go in the house and I was like shaking, like physically shaking, like an animal would shake and then, I have to be honest with you. My first thought when that happened was just like, why did that happen to me? Why? Like, I've done a ton of healing work. Why is this person coming at me? She shouldn't be able to see me. We are not even on the same plane of existence. Like, that was kind of like my first thought. And I had to cry. So first, I went in and Christine and Sophie were sitting on the couch and I cried and I was just like, I just got attacked. And I explained what happened and they were like, okay. And they found the broom and the pick-me-up and another trash bag. And the three of us went outside and it took us like 3 minutes. We like picked up the trash, we put it back into the bin and we like pulled it over to the side of the house. Meanwhile, this guy that was walking his dog, my sister is like the most friendly human on the face of the earth. Like, she talks to everybody. She'll know everybody's name. She just, like, attracts people. And anyway, this guy's walking down the street, and she's like, hey, I know you. You were at the store the other day, and blah, blah, blah. You have a little boy, and blah, 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 blah. And then they started chatting. So, like, apparently, this guy just lives down the street. And he was like, oh, my gosh, I'm so sorry that lady attacked you. She's postpartum. She hasn't been doing really well. And she's just having a real rough time with a baby. And he said, it has nothing to do with you. And I absolutely recognize that, but I really had this moment where I was just like, oh, but why did it happen? Like, I should be shielded from all of the junk in the world. I should be shielded from traumas and dramas and people coming at me and all of this stuff, right? That was my original initial thought. I put on my cloak of invisibility in the morning. Only those in my best and highest good can see me. Why did this happen? I was almost angry, and disappointed. We had this amazing trip, and why is this lady yelling at me? Because she came at me. She came at me with an energy that was like the ultimate pain body. That's why I'm being reminded of this. So I had to go in the bathroom after we cleaned up the trash, and I cried. Like, I cried big, fat, ugly tears, sobbing on the side of the tub, cried deep, hard, really cried. And I also texted the owners of the house that we were renting, and I let them know what was going on, because at that moment in time, I was like, is this lady actually calling the cops? Like, is she actually going to do that? Because I didn't have, she did not call the cops. She's just running her mouth. She's having a hard time. But, in that moment, I was just like, oh my God, if the police come here, then the people that own the Airbnb should probably know that happened. If there's if the house is going out on the wire or whatever. So I notified those people, and they were just like, oh my gosh, so sorry that happened. They were apologetic. But I then cried and cried and cried and cried in the bathroom. And then I went in and, it was still very early in the morning because I went for a sunrise walk and all of this had happened very early. This trash situation was cleaned out by 8 a.m. All of this was very early, dark morning. So go back in, and the three of us, so I cried in the bathroom, and then when I came out, the three of us sat there and did our morning meditation, and we were doing it with light work, and we were really, really having these unbelievably intense, amazing sessions. I would love to tell you more about those in the future sometime, because those are awesome stories. We had some oh my God, incredible transmissions came through. Well, the three of us working together form this gorgeous triangle of light that is like, ah. So we sat there and I was able to move from why did this happen to me and like the anger around all of this. I was able to move through those feelings to ultimately extreme compassion for the woman who yelled at me, because it was so off the wall kooky and so out of the blue. She must be in extraordinary pain to have lashed out like that. And the three of us sat in this healing session, and ultimately I ended up sending this woman wave after wave after wave of unconditional love, because she's obviously suffering in a way that I could never understand, because she never would have done that to me. And it didn't matter that it was me. Like, erase me from that picture. This had nothing to do with me. This was her pain exploding out on the world because who knows why? Who knows why? So where there gets to be some real trouble in the world, and something I kind of remember from like high school, or the idea of like things that happen, say in like a prison or something like that, because of like TV I've seen. But you have one person that's existing in their pain body, and then that pain body comes up, and then the pain body meets another person's pain body, and then you have like this incredibly intense, miserable fight, where even there could be physical violence. Like when two people's emotional things are just up, the pain bodies meet, attack. So, yeah, it's interesting. Living in a world where I transmute energy all of the time, it is rare that these like extreme things like come up in myself, but they do. They still present themselves every once in a while. When they do come up, I'm like very interested in them. I'm like, oh wow, there's a lot of sting. There's a lot of heat on that one. Very interested in it. So I might offer for you, as you bump through the world, The Power of Now is honestly like a really amazing book. Please read that if you are interested. If it's zinging for you, go get it, read it, or listen to it as an audiobook. And then notice when things come up for you, when you find yourself, your pain body activated. Notice those times. And then maybe, what do you want to do with that? Perhaps I might offer, try sitting with it. Try allowing it to arise without acting on it. Don't move into blame. Don't take it out on your partner. Don't yell at somebody on the highway or in the grocery store. Just allow it to arise. Gosh, I'm irritated. Dang, that really is getting me frustrated. Boy, I feel uncomfortable right now. Geez, I feel scritchy in my skin. Whatever that thing is that comes up. Oh, I'm so angry. I'm full of rage. And that's like a really great moment when it's super activated and triggered. That is the moment. That is the magic moment when you have the opportunity to release it from your body for good. Or at least release a piece of it. So when that comes up, oh my God, it's up. Notice it. Identify, where is it? Where is it in your body? See if you can find it. Find an awareness of it. Is it in your throat? Is it in your heart? Is it in your arms? Is it in your solar plexus? Where is it in your body that you can identify? Where is this ball of hurt and rage and anger? Where is it coming from? And this takes some practice to find it in your body. A lot of times we disassociate away from our bodies, and people aren't used to being in them and really feeling them. But if you can find it, beautiful, find it. And allow yourself without judgment to sit with that feeling. breathe into it. We've learned some breathing in the past together on a Hump Day Healing. I showed you some different kinds of breathing, but you could use breath work at this moment. Breathing deeply, breathing in, holding, and breathing out. So I might offer do some breath work into that space. So breathing into your lower belly and breathing out. Sending that breath with the intention of your mind to the area that you found in your body where you're finding the rage, where you're finding the pain come up. Just allow it. You might have an idea of what it's about. Notice what that idea is, that what's coming up for you. Is it like a past trauma that you've had? Is it blame? There might be like a few layers to get to the actual like thing that happened, because a lot of the times like you'll have an original wound, an original gnarly thing happens, and then similar things will just pile and pile and pile and pile and pile on top, and they live in that area of your body that hold pains of that frequency. So I would invite you to breathe into that area and really just sit with it, feel it, and allow it. Maybe journal about it, but just don't write a story. Don't go yell at somebody else. Just be with your own energy. Be with it. I love movement especially during anger. So I love nature. So I love going to the woods, and I'll just go walk in the woods and work on especially difficult triggers that come up. But yeah, you do this work enough, you get to the point where when the triggers come up, you're excited because you're like, oh my God, get it out. Get it out of here. Clear it out of the system. Thank you for coming up so that I can transmute this and return it to source. Doing no harm as it's good. Return to sender. Return to the earth. Yeah. Then as a healer, what I would do is fill in those spaces and places of what's left behind with the whatever kind of high vibrational energy or light wants to come in. But those are next steps. That's healer steps. I would invite you to notice your pain body. Just oot and a boot out in the world. So it is March 18th, and I just actually woke up today and recalled something I didn't mention yesterday that I wanted to toss in here. And that is that when this woman in Sedona attacked me, I was absolutely shocked, but I didn't respond with my own pain body. So something that I reflected upon after the fact was in the past, like when I was in high school or college or in my early 20s, I would have responded to this woman. Like she called me an effing B 3 times. Honey, she would have learned words about herself that she has never heard before. I am from Philadelphia, and she would have met Philly Frida, who has a mouth on her that, honey, I make words up to be hurtful, and you would just be stunned. So my ability to be cruel almost is something that I have had experience with, and that notion never crossed my mind. So I have healed in such a fashion, in such a way, that the idea of a hurtful pain body retaliation type situation never even arrived in my awareness. It wasn't until later that I thought, holy cazoli, look how much work I have done, that I did not even meet her. My pain body did not come up to meet hers, because that kind of pain is no longer inside of me in that way, where it would attack another or feel the need to defend myself or retaliate in such a way. Like the cops would have been called because we would have gotten into a physical altercation. Like that is the person that I was when I was in a tremendous amount of pain as a young person. So just acknowledging that growth as well. And then in the yoga situation, I did not feel the need, even though I was reading the room, I did not feel the need to step into that situation because I knew it was handled. Other people were on top of it. It was fine. I did not need to get involved. I did not need to add my energy to that mix. So that was just a reflection I had and wanted to share. All right, my friends, that's enough for today. I hope that you have a wonderful day. If you have any interest in joining my monthly subscription service, Return to Self-Love, we are doing epic, incredible, unbelievable, wild, amazing, incredibly transformative, fast, in-depth, awesome, radical work in that container. It is an honor to be serving in that way. And you can book a 20-minute consultation call by going to fridahealing.com, and in the Return to Self-Love section, there is a thing you can fill out, and it will offer you times to book a 20-minute consultation call, and I'll show you the platform. You can tell me what your needs are. You can hear more about the program, and we'll see if we're a good fit to work together. All right, my friends, I love you. God, Universe, Source loves you, and have a wonderful day.